Catholic Echo podcast is produced by the Communications Department of the Diocese of Youngstown, with support from the Annual Diocesan Appeal. Bishop David Bonner and members of our diocesan community discuss your burning spiritual questions. It can be found on catholicecho.org, Facebook, and YouTube. Your host is Dennis Biviano.
Hello and welcome to the Catholic Echo podcast. We kick off today's episode with Andrew Conrad, a member of Saint Joseph Church, Maximo. He's part of the Finance Council and today a historian on the 175th anniversary of the parish. Andrew, nice to meet you, and thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
So back in 1850, priests from Louisville, Harrisburg, St. Peter's in Canton, and St. Mary in Massillon celebrated Mass with Catholics of Maximo in a private home. What can you tell me about the Maximo community in your church's humble beginnings?
Well, we're still humble. And
That's good to hear.
It was a thought at one time to start a parish, and it just grew from there. You know, eventually a building was erected, a school was erected, cemetery was founded. It just kept growing until we have the current building we have today.
It's a rural setting, and you said there were French settlers.
Yes, many of them come directly from France and settled there.
Did you mention about the school that was built in 1868, a new school erected in 1924, and that was open until the 1970s with an enrollment of 115 students. That
165 at the peak.
165,
yes,
okay.
Yeah.
That was attended by the Sisters of Charity of St. Augustine. I thought it was interesting that the women of the parish would help fund the schools for 25 years at that time, selling quilts. And you told me that actually still happens at annual parish festival.
At Christmas time, they raffle off a quilt that a parishioner makes every year still.
That's a lost art, don't you think?
I believe so, yes. Right. There's not many young women doing quilts anymore.
So, like, paint a picture, what kind of quilts, how many, and how does that help you?
It's one quilt every year. The parishioner that makes it comes up with the design, and it's always beautiful, obviously, you know.
So, the big anniversary, 175th anniversary of the parish, in your research, tell me a little bit more about the parish community, I guess some stories that stood out to you. You had mentioned about a Mother's Day event.
Yeah, years ago they had a Mother's Day chicken dinner. They would literally butcher the chickens on site, and they would run them through the dishwasher to pluck them.
Wow.
To scald them and pluck them, and they would process it and serve it right that day.
That would have been unique. You think Mother's Day, you think go to the Mass, and then go where you're going to go that day, whether it's at home or out to eat.
Right.
Kind of unique, right?
It sounds wonderful. All I think about are the flies must have been terrible.
What else stands out? Some events in the parish history.
We used to have a festival for years. It was well attended. We just lost interest in running it. And we have a jamboree now. This year we had a special jamboree, invited Bishop Bonner. Mm-hmm. He attended Mass for it, which was an honor, obviously. Mm-hmm. We have a great CCD program. We have about 40 kids in that. For a small parish, I feel that's pretty incredible.
You said about 300 people at Mass every week. That's great showing for a small community,
yes,
right?
Yes, we're pushing. Yeah, the church probably, if you got a shoehorn, you could get 400 people in there, so to be pushing 300 regularly, yes, that's incredible.
And CCD program you mentioned. So you guys are there at 9 a.m. on Sundays,
on Sunday
your regular
morning,
Mass?
yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Talk about you personally. You said you were baptized there. You had the sacraments, your family. Talk about
yes,
that.
All my sacraments were there. All my children were baptized there. I married my wife there. I have a very deep connection. I have a picture from 1923 we have hanging up there of Confirmation Day. And the bishop from Cleveland at the time would have attended that. My dad's sister Priscilla was a teacher for that.
Oh, wow.
So I don't know if I have anything goes deeper than that in the parish, but I know that's a connection.
That means a lot to you, doesn't it? Multi-generations still celebrating there?
When you look back, it's probably one of the oldest pictures we have. Yeah, I have a connection to it, yeah.
I would imagine that's a big thing, multi-generational.
Yes.
People that have actually stayed here in the valley and continue to worship.
Oh, yeah. You go back to some of the founding names, you could still see them today at the parish. I don't know how many generations that would be, but it's pretty incredible.
How does the community sustain a parish for 175 years?
Well, you got to have good parishioners, for starters, dedicated ones. When we need something, our parishioners step up immediately. The southern wall in our church is all stained glass, and probably 10, 12 years ago, it needed repaired bad. And Father Joseph Ruggieri was our pastor at the time. He actually was just there. It was like one of his first masses he did, he had a pitch list, because we had needed repaired by Monday. We had the money.
Wow.
So that's the type of parishioners we have.
That shows a lot of tight support there. Let's talk about on September 28th, you had the anniversary dinner. What was that like? Did you see a lot of old faces? Did folks come from out of town?
Some did. It was a really nice dinner. We had PJ Chavez come and played some music for us, and it was a nice dinner. We had it catered, and it was a very nice little dinner.
Any other traditions that you currently have that you look forward to each year?
For this year, for our 175th, we try to do an activity every month. And, some of them we made new activities, and others we elaborated on traditions we already have, like the palm burning before Ash Wednesday. We do that every year, generally with the CCD kids. This year, we have a parishioner that actually owns a pretzel company.
Oh, wow.
A soft pretzel company. So I was thinking, well, we need to elaborate on this. I asked him to come in because, the Catholic Church has a lot to do with pretzels. The monks made the pretzels.
Yes.
They said it was a treat to reward the children for praying. So he came in and did a presentation on basically how to make a pretzel and the history of pretzels.
Very interesting.
And because it's a great Lenten thing, a pretzel, a soft pretzel.
We touched on it a little bit, but you said how refreshing it is to see the younger generations, especially, millennial parents now with their younger kids in church. Sometimes, often, my generation really doesn't carry on the traditions, or, I see so many people that haven't had their kids baptized when they grew up Catholic.
Right.
Is it refreshing to see that in your parish?
It is. I mean, for a smaller parish, we have 3 or 4 baptisms a year, and Sunday morning, 9 o'clock Mass is noisy.
Good noisy.
It is. A lot of children in there. It's one of those, you love to hear it, but at the same time it's noise, but no complaints at all.
And then just last question, what are you looking forward to most in the future of your parish, being involved in the finance council and everything?
Just working with the pastor to move ahead. We're treading in the waters we don't know the future of. Like,
yes.
We talked earlier, you're the bearer of bad news a lot of times. And the uncertainty of moving ahead, but, we're not stopping. We got our shoulders down, and we're just going to keep moving ahead. We're not going to worry about what could happen. We have nobody looking back. Everyone's just looking forward.
Sounds like a good plan. Andrew Conrad from Saint Joseph Church Maximo, thanks so much for your time.
Thank you.
Coming up when the Catholic Echo podcast returns, a conversation with our Diocesan Chancellor and Archivist, Joan Lawson. She has an update on the All Saints Diocesan Archive Center. Much more to come. Keep it here. It's time for Patron Saints of the Diocese of Youngstown with your Bishop, David J. Bonner.
St. Joseph is one of the most popular patron saints in the Diocese of Youngstown. As the foster father of Jesus, Joseph taught him the carpentry trade, listened to the messages of the angel in dreams, and protected Mary and Jesus when they journeyed as migrants and political refugees. St. Joseph is the patron saint of fathers, travelers, house sellers, workers, the Universal Church, as well as St. Joseph parishes in Alliance, Manaway, and Maximo, St. Mary's St. Joseph Parish in Newton Falls, St. Joseph the Provider School in Youngstown, St. Joseph School in Mogador, and St. Joseph Cemeteries in Ashtabula, Maximo, and Mogador. He is the patron of St. Joseph churches in the merged parishes of Divine Mercy Parish in Massillon, Guardian Angels Parish in Canton, Our Lady of Peace Parish in Ashtabula, St. Blaise Parish in Austintown, and St. John Neumann Parish in Mogador and Rootstown. His feast day is March 19th, so happy feast day of St. Joseph to our friends throughout the Diocese of Youngstown. St. Joseph, pray for us.
Did you know that the Catholic Echo magazine is delivered 10 times per year to 52,000 Catholic households in northeastern Ohio? That's more than 150,000 people. And the Catholic Echo website, catholicecho.org, has been averaging 30,000 views per month since it launched in February 2023. Advertise your business, special event, or service with the Catholic Echo in print or online. Email catholicecho@youngstowndiocese.org. Advertising discounts are available for Catholic institutions as well as for businesses that commit to 5 or 10 issues in a year. Email catholicecho@youngstowndiocese.org or visit the advertising tab at catholicecho.org for more information.
Welcome back to the Catholic Echo podcast. I've invited our Diocesan Chancellor and Archivist Joan Lawson to discuss the progress of All Saints Diocesan Archives Center. Joan, thanks as always for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
We had the groundbreaking, beautiful ceremony on September 15th. Great crowd, enthusiasm for the project, which is slated to be finished in the summer of 2026. What did that day mean for the diocese and to you personally?
It was a great blessing. It was a blessing to have people there who understand the importance of it, both our community of Catholics and also our civic leaders who really were absolutely on point in understanding the importance of preserving our past while looking to our future.
Now, since we last talked, can you give us an update on what you, Hannah, and now Jason, your new addition, have been working on when it comes to documents and items for the Archive Center?
Yes, we're working on keeping up with what is coming in and also preparing for the move to go into our new facility because our materials are scattered in different locations and they keep coming in great numbers from parishes and schools. And so our new processing archivist, Jason, has been working on getting those huge numbers of boxes of materials inventoried and ready to move because we have to account for, of course, every single sheet of paper from different locations. And Hannah's been working on lots of research requests that come in and keeping up with new materials as they come in.
And I understand you've had some items donated from the public. Can you tell me about some of those that stood out to you?
Absolutely. One that was so touching came from Father Steve Popovich's sister, Margie Cretella. She brought us a Sacred Heart picture. So it's been sort of the year of the Sacred Heart for us because of Bishop Bonner's new pastoral letter, but also as a wonderful reminder of Father Popovich.
Yeah.
This Sacred Heart picture he had from he was young. It had come originally from St. Methodius Church, and he had carried it with him all through his adult life and his ministry. And now it's with us where we can preserve not only a beautiful religious image, but a wonderful memory of a wonderful priest. We had this year the excitement and the tremendous blessing of having one of our own named a bishop, Bishop John Keener, and so that created a wonderful feeling among people. And somebody gave us a ticket to when Bishop Hughes was installed as the Bishop of the Diocese of Covington in 1979. So it's a reminder of past men of our diocese who have become bishops. At the same time that came in, we got a ticket for when Mother Teresa, now Saint Teresa of Calcutta, came to Canton in 1979. So a reminder of saints walking among us. Lots of photographs have come in from First Communions, weddings, graduating classes. Those are wonderful documents of the daily life of faithful Catholics in our diocese. I had put out a call for cookbooks and received a few of those. And those are also good reminders of, cookbooks from parishes and a reminder of how parish life has been the center, not only of our spiritual life, but also of our communal life. And, even what people were interested in cooking in 1959 versus 1999 versus 2025. And also, we have a mutually supportive relationship with the Diocese of Cleveland, and they had a collection that had more to do with us than them, even though we were part of them, of course, until 1943. And so they had a collection from Monsignor Norman Kelly, who was ordained as a priest of the Diocese of Cleveland, but after we were established, was a priest of the Diocese of Youngstown. And he was the pastor at St. Rose of Girard for a number of years, and the archives there gave us a big collection of photographs from that. So that's a fruitful relationship as well. Lots of materials coming in from people who have a growing awareness of our function and the potential and possibility of who we can be for the community, of reminding the community of the contributions of Catholics and what Catholicism has meant to our northeastern Ohio.
Now, has it been a combination of you reaching out and people hearing about this and reaching out to you?
Yes, I think that's it. The more the word gets out, we go and talk to groups, and they start thinking, I have that in my basement, or my mom had that. Word is just growing.
Are you still taking donations?
Absolutely. It has to do with the history of the Diocese of Youngstown.
And those hearing about this project, perhaps for the first time on this podcast, can you stress the importance of having a climate-controlled facility that houses 6 counties worth of archive material?
Yes, I think that if people have ever stored anything in their basement or their attic and gone back years later to find it, they'll know that the problems in basement with humidity where mold can grow on materials or silverfish can eat them, or in the attic, which tends to get very hot, where materials almost get cooked, they get very brittle. Well, our materials have been in spaces like that. And for them to be preserved into perpetuity, as we say, for the future, as far as we can see, we need to have them where there isn't excess humidity or too low humidity, where sunlight won't damage them, where creatures can't get at them. And so having this tightly controlled environment is essential for preserving the materials. And as you say, it's a large geographic area and large number of parishes and a large number of Catholics within it. So having a place where the collection can grow and we can continue to preserve it is essential.
Can you paint us a little picture over the winter and into the spring, what's next for the project?
Well, we'll continue to prepare for the move. Of course, building is about to commence, so we'll have a foundation and then the structure, and then we'll get to watch the new building itself grow, and then we'll get to button up the former St. Cyril and Methodius Church in Youngstown. The people of that parish beautifully took care of it,
Yes.
But there are just some things with the maintenance, with the roof and with the windows that, time and weather have been working on. We'll button that up, and then we'll create within that magnificent space a place where people can meet, people can look at exhibits and learn about our history, gather to hear programs about our history.
It is very well preserved, been in there several times. And the lighting too, you're improving the lighting as well?
That's right, because the light level is also essential in preserving documents. You can't expose things to sunlight, and also the kind of artificial lighting and controlling that is very important.
And again, just to recap, how do you anticipate parishioners will be able to use the Archive Center when it opens next year?
In the new part of the building, there will be a public reading room, and in that we anticipate having all published parish histories and other materials where they can come in and look up what they need to look up. And then beyond that, they can request materials. So for instance, if I have the 1936 Saint Joseph graduating class or First Communion class that was donated by someone else's grandchild, they can come in and see their grandparents, giving us enough notice that we could pull that material. And then in the church itself, they'll be able to see an exhibit on the history of the whole of our diocese and what the significance of that is and how it fits in the context of our national history, because of course next year we'll be celebrating the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence.
Yes.
And Catholics have been a part of our nation since its inception.
Sounds exciting for folks that are like myself, Ancestry.com enthusiasts. Okay, Joan, final word. Anything else that's important to mention about this project?
Just what a blessing it is for us to be able to preserve our history and look forward to the future, knowing that we face challenges, but those who have gone before us have also faced challenges, and that we dwell in the communion of saints as we remember. It's a wonderful way of preserving and remembering.
Joan, thank you as always.
Thank you.
Many thanks to our guests today, Andrew Conrad of Saint Joseph Maximo and Diocesan Chancellor and Archivist Joan Lawson. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook, CatholicEcho.org, or your favorite podcasting platform. I'm your host, Dennis Biviano, and on behalf of the rest of our communications team, thanks for listening and have a blessed week.
The Catholic Echo podcast is a production of the Roman Catholic Diocese of Youngstown. Have a blessed day, and may God be with you.